So find a comfortable seat, whatever that means for you today. I'm sitting cross-legged on a folded blanket, but if that doesn't work for you for any reason, then sit in a way that does work for you because this isn't necessary. It's just what happens. This is how my body seems to work well. Yours might not do that. That's okay. And then we're going to take the heels of the hands and press down on the upper thighs. So it's a little press down, lean forward. This is Kikuchio, for those of you that don't know him. He is our Maine Coon and he loves the smell of my shampoo. So if you look up later, you might see that he is chewing on my head. That's okay. All right, from here we'll take it side to side. So you're going to press into one thigh, lean away, turn to look up towards the sky. Nice, there he goes. Ow. And then we'll go over to the other side, pressing down into that thigh, turning to look. So in this way, we're wringing out the spine, going a little back and forth. Mm. Really giving ourselves the opportunity to see what our body feels like this morning. Gorgeous. Coming back to neutral. We're sliding the heels of the hands from the hips towards the knees. Really put some force into this. Elongate the quadricep. Mm, gorgeous. Next time the hands slip over the kneecaps, pause. We're using the knees as a stability point, and then we're lifting up through the crown of the head. So you're going to keep your hands on your knees and you're going to start to make big circles with the torso. Now, this works no matter if you're sitting in a chair, if you're kneeling, if your legs are extended, it doesn't matter. Your circles might be a different size. That's okay. Gorgeous. Circling around, letting it be as kind of exaggerated as you want it to be or contained as you want it to be. Nice. And then on an exhalation, let's change direction. So now you're going the other way with your circles. Nice big breaths here. Mm. And then I want you to close your eyes if you feel safe and comfortable to do it and start to make your circles smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and slower and smaller. And you keep making them smaller and slower and slower and smaller until eventually, externally, I might not be able to see any movement, but internally, you can feel this tiny little echo of the circling. Like there's this little residue of the circling. And then eventually, even that comes to stillness. And then we're noticing internally, how does it feel? Are we evenly balanced, right side, left side, tailbone, pubic bone? Does something need to be adjusted for us to feel perfectly balanced? Then the tailbone is descending straight towards the center of the earth. And then we're reaching from the base of the skull, right? This really lengthens our spine. It kind of excavates the back of the neck. And then the last few weeks, I've been talking about the action of the lower abdominal wall, and today is no different. And so I typically say, draw your pubic bone to your belly button and draw your belly button back towards your spine. But instead today, I want you to think about those jeans you have that just, they fit, but when they come out of the dryer, they're a little extra tight. And I want you to think about the actions you have to do in your abdomen to get those jeans on. So when you go to zip them up, you have to draw from pubic bone to belly button. And then when you go to button them, you have to draw the navel back. So I want you to think now of zipping up the jeans and button them. Yes, nice. Now you have all this stability in the lower abdominal wall. But if you're like most people, when you did that, your lower frontal ribs, your sternum dropped. So I want you to lift your sternum, spread your collarbones while maintaining the zipped up, buttoned up jeans. Yes, nice. Now drop the arm bones from the shoulder socket. Balance the skull on top of the spine. You're still lifting from the base of the skull. That might mean your chin is slightly lower than parallel to the floor. That's okay. And then relax your jaw. Drop your bottom jaw away from your top jaw. We're creating space between the teeth. And then relax the cheekbones, the bridge of the nose, the eyes and their sockets. Spread the eyebrows. Let the left eyebrow go left, right eyebrow go right. And then smooth out the skin of the forehead, relax the skin at the temples, soften the inner ears. And then notice that you're breathing. Notice that you're breathing, right? What a gift to still be breathing. So notice your inhalation, notice your exhalation. Be with the breath. Can you let everything else fall away? Right? Can you let everything that happened before now, anything that might happen after now, let it all drop? Be just with the breath. And that might be that you're doing that one breath at a time, or it might be that you're doing it one inhale, then one exhale at a time. Right? Break it into smaller pieces. Just focus on that inhale. All right. Then just focus on that exhale. Good job. It's like putting your feet in front of each other. You're going on a walk. We just sit. What is the littlest thing that you can do to feel okay, right? And sometimes it's just that inhalation, just that exhalation. So a few more times like that. Beautiful. And then let's take the hands together in front of the heart. Palm against palm, fingers elongated. Lift the sternum to the base of the thumbs, broaden the collarbones. We're preparing for sound. I'm inviting you to chant the sound of Om with me 3 times and then the invocation for those that know it. Go ahead, exhale fully, let go of all the breath you currently have. Then inhale fully to begin. Om Sahana Bhavatu, Sahano Bhunaktu, Saha Viryam Karavavahai, Tejasvina Vaditamastu, Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, let your chin come towards your chest, let your hands fall to your lap, pause, notice. Take a moment to investigate internally, what do you need from your practice this morning? Is there an intention, a desire, something necessary? Don't worry if nothing bubbles to the surface. That's okay too. And then go ahead on an inhale, flutter your eyelids open, taking in form and shape and color. And then as you feel ready, raise the gaze. But before you look back at the screen, if you've got a window to look out of, look out a window. If you don't have a window, just look wide into your room before you go back into your screen. Then eventually we come back to neutral. Hands come underneath the knees. Let's unpack the knees, extending the legs forward. We're going to iron out root to shoot here. I'm just backing up so you don't lose my feet in the camera. Ironing out from hip to ankle, really thinking of that concept of moving toothpaste down the tube. So as we run the hands from the hip towards the ankle, we're putting pressure into the legs and kind of cuffing them with the hands. Mm-hmm. Gorgeous. We're going to work with a little bit of twisting here this morning. So I've got my legs hips distance apart. I'm reaching through the inner heel and I've lightly flexed my feet. It's almost like they're touching a wall. And you're going to take your fingertips on either side of your hips. I want you to press down to lengthen. And if you're seated in a chair, you could just keep the knees bent, feet flat on the floor. It just depends on what you're working with. Zip up the pants, button them, yep, nice. And then we're going to work with our breath rhythm. So you're going to inhale the arms towards the sky, exhale, turn to the right, inhale up, exhale, turn to the left. You're going to find your rhythm. Might be faster, might be slower than mine, doesn't matter. You're finding your rhythm here. Letting the head go with. And then as you feel ready, we're going to let the head lift towards the sky. So when you inhale and lift the arms up, let the gaze go as well. Then as you exhale, the head turns with the torso. Lifting up, turning with the torso. Lifting up, turning with the torso. Good. Couple more like this. Don't worry, we're going to get a chance to land in a moment. All right, next time you land on the right side, pause. So the right fingertips are behind you. Back of the left hand is pressing against the outer right leg. Tailbone is heavy. We're lifting from the base of the skull. Each inhale, we get a little taller. Each exhale, perhaps we go just a little deeper. I'm still reaching through the inner heels. My feet are still relatively active. Again, that idea of pressing into the wall. And then we're keeping the torso turning to the right. And we'll take the chin up and over that left shoulder to look down at the floor on the left-hand side. Breathing here. Little twist and counter twist. And then exhale, return to neutral. Last side, inhale, lift the arms, lift the gaze. Exhale, turn to the left. Left fingertips behind you, back of right hand against outer left thigh. That helps to roll the shoulders down the back. And then tailbone super heavy, base of the skull lifts, right? That'll help you lift the chest. Inhale, get very long. Exhale, turn from the belly, the rib cage, the collarbones. Nice full breaths here. And then keeping the torso turning to the left, take the chin up and over that right shoulder. We look down at the floor on the right-hand side. The breath continues. Try not to hold the breath. And then exhale, coming back to neutral. Beautiful. Scoop up underneath the knees. Bring the feet to the floor wider than the hips and let the knees go side to side. Just clearing any tension out of the hips, out of the low back. Nice. And then we're going for chest opener over blanket. You know it, you love it. So I'm clearing my space so that I have room. I'm going to take a flat block, long edges of the block parallel to the long edges of the mat. Got my trusty blanket. I'm going to roll it up nice and tight. That goes horizontal across the mat. Want to build in a little space here. So eventually when I take the arms overhead, I've got room. And then we're lining up the bottom tip of the shoulder blade with the blanket. Come on down. Head is resting on that block. Do any sorting out that you need to do. You might need to rock a little side to side. You might need to pick up and replace things. That's all welcome. And then arms in a T shape, backs of the hands are on the floor. Draw your chin towards your chest. You might not have extended the legs yet. That's fine. We're going to take the head from side to side. Slowly, slowly. Releasing any tension from the tops of the shoulders, the back of the neck, the base of the skull. And then bringing the head back to neutral. Now from here, one at a time, we'll extend the legs onto the floor. If that bothers the low back at all, you'll just bend the knees again. Take the feet to the outer edges of the mat, turn the big toes towards each other and let the knees fall into each other, right? So if extending the legs bothers the low back, you'll come to this bent knee variation. Otherwise, legs are extended, you're reaching through the inner heels and rolling big toes towards each other, inner thighs towards the floor. Then everyone can think about it, even here, of zipping up the jeans and buttoning them, right? Don't overdo, don't underdo. Find just the right amount here that feels like there's firmness and support from the lower abdominals. Then everyone turn the lower frontal ribs down towards the earth, right? It's like you're trying to lengthen the frontal plane of the body. Chin moves towards the chest. Then we're lifting the arms towards the sky. Opposite hand takes hold of opposite forearm like I Dream of Jeannie. Then you're either resting the forearms on the forehead or letting them go clear over the crown of the head to rest on the block that you placed so brilliantly earlier. And then we're breathing here, right? Once we take up the shape of this chest opener, then the breath does all the heavy lifting. So really endeavor to find your fullest, most satisfying breaths here. Back of the neck is still long. Often when we take the arms overhead, the back of the neck shortens. And then making a mental note which forearm is on top. On your next inhalation, we'll take the arms behind us, palms of the hands facing each other. It's like you're an upside down superhero reaching through all 10 fingers, stretching, stretching. Then on the exhale, we refold the arms now with the opposite forearm on top. Turn the lower frontal ribs down, zip up your jeans, button them up. Beautiful. If the legs are extended, you're rolling the inner thighs towards the floor. Did the back of the neck shorten? I know there's so much to pay attention to. Couple more breaths. Really finding your way with it. And then on the exhalation, everyone releases the arms out and down to the sides. Everyone bends the knee now. Feet go as wide as the yoga mat. And then slowly, slowly, knees and head in opposition. Knees go left, head goes right. Knees go right, head goes left. If you want to move up and down on that blanket a little bit, like a bear scratching its back on a tree, it can be quite nice to do, especially if the upper back has been feeling tight, irritated, or aggravated. Beautiful. Then from here, we're going to roll all the way to one side. Use the hands to help yourself up. We have to just rearrange things a little bit for our next sequence. So we will need a block and a strap eventually, but we'll also need to unroll our blanket and then fold it so that it can support the back of our head and our neck. Once you have that, you place it back on your mat and then you come back to active rest, where the head and the neck are supported. That means the folded edge of your blanket is pulled all the way up to the tops of your shoulders. Your shoulders aren't on them, but it's just so close that there's no gap and the back of the neck feels fully supported. The knees are bent, feet are flat on the floor, arms are a comfortable distance to your side. Let's go ahead and take the head from side to side again. I know we've done this in a few positions now. Let the back of the head be very heavy. Just releasing tension from the cervical spine, so important. We do so much with our heads, right? We're always holding them at strange angles. If you've got long hair like me, you've got extra weight. So it's nice to release tension. All right, bringing the head back to neutral. On an exhalation, we're inviting that right knee into the chest. You're either interlacing over the shin or you're folding your hands between the thigh and the calf. Please use both hands, right? This is going to be very important here in a moment. Relax the shoulder blades down the back. Relax the knee in towards the chest. Make sure the back of the neck hasn't shortened. And then on your next exhalation, let that right knee drift off to the right as much as it can go. You're letting the left arm be dragged across the frontal plane of the body. Don't worry if your left hip gets light or if the left knee wants to drift off to the left. That's fine. Make sure that the left shoulder hasn't hiked up towards the chin. Keep it moving down. And then anyone who wants to could turn the head to look left. And then we're breathing. Long, full, steady inhalations. Complete, satisfying exhalations. From here, we're going to bring the knee back to neutral. Let that left arm come to the floor beside you. Right hand takes hold of the bent right knee, and we're starting to take that knee around in a circle. Going a few times in one direction, a few times in the other. We're letting the pelvis be very relaxed, very loose. So in this way, you're getting a massage in the low back as well as loosening up the hip socket. Soften the jaw, relax the throat, and try not to hold the breath. And then letting go of the knee, we're going to keep making circles, but now it's on its own. There's no more support from the hand. But what I would like you to do is to press firmly into the sole of the left foot and see if now you can stabilize the pelvis. Now that might mean the circles with your knee are a little smaller or slower. That's okay. We are using the jeans, right? So zip it up, button it up as best you can. Beautiful. From here, if you feel ready, you're going to lengthen the leg towards the sky and point the toes. It's like your leg is one big Ticonderoga pencil, right? Those number 2 pencils, the yellow ones. And now you're drawing circles on your ceiling with your toes, going a few times in one direction, a few times in the other. You're in charge of how big or how small the circles are. You get to decide, but definitely keep changing directions every few passes. You might be experimenting with several different sizes of circles. That would be fine. Nice. Breathing in, breathing out. And then finally, we'll flex the foot like we're using the heel bone to erase the circles we drew with our toes. Try to keep the pelvis as stable as possible. And again, if that means your circles are a little smaller, that's fine. And then exhale, bend the knee, put the foot on the floor, pause, notice. Notice where sensation is, how far up the body, how far across the body. Is it just in the hip, the low back? Was it also in the thigh? How about the upper body? Was there any sensation there? And then let's do that much to the second side. Exhaling that left knee in towards you. Again, you're either interlacing the hands over the shin or folding the hands between the thigh and the calf. It's really up to how your knee feels about it. And then go ahead, refresh the length of the back of the neck. Take a deep inhale here. And then as you exhale, let that left knee drift off to the left. It's taking the right arm across the body, but we're not letting the right shoulder hike up. And then anyone who wants to turns their head to the right. Breathe into the hip, the inner thigh, but also the space between the shoulder blade and the spine on the right side, right? You're making space in the interscapular area. Breathing, breathing. Gorgeous. Slowly, slowly coming back to neutral. You know where we're going. Right arm reaches down and lengthens onto the floor. Left hand takes hold of the bent left knee. We start to steer it around in a circle. This time the pelvis is loose, right? We're getting that massage on the second side. We're breathing. Relaxing the face, the throat, the jaw. Then we're letting go of the knee. We're stabilizing the pelvis, but we're still making circles, right? We're really trying to keep the pelvis and the torso stable best you can. You've got to press into the sole of the right foot. That'll help. Keep breathing. I know it's tempting to hold the breath when we're concentrating. And then extend the leg towards the sky. Point the toes strongly. Lengthen through the back of the leg. And now circle the whole leg. Yes. Now this side might be different than the first side. If you feel any clunking, clicking, any of that, you make the circles smaller. You make them slower. That's fine. Nice deep inhales, full exhales. Gorgeous. And then flexing the foot now, using the heel bone to erase the circles. Again, can you zip up the jeans? Can you button them? Keeping that pelvis so stable. Yes, good job. Exhale, bend the knee, replace the foot on the floor. Pause, notice. And then just out of curiosity, we're going to take the knees and the head a little side to side. Noticing how the low back, the pelvis, upper body, neck, shoulders, how does everything feel? Gorgeous. Coming back to neutral now, let's go ahead and find our strap. We're going to exhale both knees into the chest and put the strap around the balls of both feet and lengthen both legs up towards the sky, right? So we're basically in Supta Dandasana, right? Because if we flipped ourselves onto our butts, we would be in Dandasana like we were earlier with our twisting. But I want us to move both legs together. We're going to go kind of in all directions. And so we played around a little bit with this last week, but we're going to let the legs go away from us as far as the arms will let us. And then as you exhale, you bend your elbows out to the side and try to bring the legs as close to you as you can, right? So we're going back and forth, right? Letting the legs go out as far as the arms will allow. And then as you exhale, elbows bend out to the side, you draw both legs towards you. Just a little rocking back and forth here. It might be much smaller than what I'm doing. That's okay. Right? It doesn't have to be big to be effective. Couple more times just like this, getting into a rhythm. I like to inhale as the legs move away and exhale as the legs come close. This is a nice action for the low back. The next time the legs come over the pelvis, pause, and we'll take it a little side to side. So a little left to right. Now, this might be a very small action where you're just pouring the weight from one side of the pelvis to the others. Still, others might explore how far can they go before they start to topple over. Right? There's a little curiosity there. How far can I go before it's going to be like a tree in a forest falling down? If a yogi falls over in their own home, does it make a sound if no one's there? Nice. And then we'll take it around in a circle. So now using your arms to help your legs go around in a circle. Done a lot of circling today. And then go the other direction. Right? It's interesting. We circled each leg as individual. Now we're doing both legs together. Nice. Let's switch directions again. And then last time. Nice. Coming back to neutral. Exhale, bend the knees, bring the feet to the floor. Strap can go to the side. Pause for a moment with the knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Just feel what it feels like in the pelvis. And then if you're like me, you probably have a little curiosity. Let's go ahead and take the knees and the head in opposition again, just to see how this affected us. Yeah, why not? We're allowed. We're allowed to investigate and see. Nice. Coming back to neutral, we've got one more little bit of work to do here on the floor, but we have to take the blanket out from underneath our head because we're going to lift our pelvis. So I've got my flat block ready to go. Press down through the feet, lift the hips, slide that flat block horizontally behind the pelvis so it's right underneath the sacrum. You should feel well supported. For now, knees are bent, feet are flat on the floor. I want you to bend your elbows and press them into the earth on either side of the rib cage. Palms of the hands are facing each other for now. Press the elbows down so you can lift your shoulder blades away from the floor and towards each other so they're moving down the back body. Then you're welcome to keep your hands here, right around the vicinity of your frontal hip bones. You might even turn your hands to face your thighs. This is going to give you a little bumper to work with so that you don't bring the thighs any closer than your hips. So at no point do I want you to bring the thighs in towards the chest. I want you to always stop right at the hip socket. All right, so we're going to have several varieties that you'll be able to choose from. You're always welcome to go back to a different variation as we move forward. If you're like, oop, I got somewhere and I don't like it, you can always go back. But we'll start with this variation. So zip up the navel, button it up, and then on your next exhalation, pick your right foot off the floor, bring your thigh to your hand or bring it right over the hip socket. Then as you inhale, you put the foot back down. Then we do the second side. Exhale, lift the left foot off the floor. Don't bring the thigh too close. Inhale, put it down. So you're going back and forth. This is our first variation. Right? It's a nice place to start. It's like you're marching in place, not letting the thigh come any closer. If you feel like you can trust yourself, you can rest the arms on the floor. Right? And once you kind of feel where the stopping point is, you might feel like it's easy to do that. Now, if you're like, boy, I wish this was harder, you could try picking both feet up off the floor at the same time. So you pick them both up, let them come back to land, pick them both up, let them come back to land. Right? So that's the second variation. If you're like, I still need more challenge. Well, I've got you covered, friend. The third variation is to bend the knees, pick the feet up off the floor, and we start from here, where the knees are over the hip sockets, knees are bent at 90 degrees.
At no point are we going to lose that 90-degree bend of the knee because we're going to work from the hip socket, not from the knee. So you inhale here, exhale, lower the right toes, barely touch. Inhale, pick that foot back up. Exhale, lower it down. Inhale, pick it back up. So you're going back and forth, alternating legs, just barely touching the toes, and then bringing the knee back up. Barely touching the toes, and then bringing the knee back up. Then if this felt too easy, you wanted a little more challenge, you'd flex the feet and tip the heel bone down. Dip the heel bone down. Right? It's a little bit further of a distance to go. Keep that navel back. Keep the jeans zipped up. Don't let the pelvis move. And then, of course, you could do both legs together, either dipping the toes or dipping the heels, or I like to alternate, doing one and then the other, going back and forth. Yes, you're in any variation that feels appropriate today. Breathing as you go, trying to keep the knees bent at 90 degrees. Yep, dipping down and returning. Let's do one more time either side or two more times, both legs together. Gorgeous. And then when you're complete, the knees come towards the chest. So we're not taking the feet to the floor. Back of the neck is nice and long. Rest here, breathing. And then the bent knee variation is still available for anyone who wants it. Or I've got a straight leg variation. For a moment, let's everyone extend our legs up straight towards the sky as best you can. And we'll point and flex the feet a few times. Nice. And then we'll circle the ankles. A couple of times in one direction, couple of times in the other. Gorgeous. And then we're flexing the feet, reaching through the heel bones. See if you can roll your outer upper arms towards the floor, draw the navel towards the spine, the pubic bone towards the belly button, right? Zip it up, button it up. Then on your next inhale, lengthen the right leg. As you exhale, lower it to parallel to the floor. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to lift it back towards the sky. So we're only moving on the exhale. Left side, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lift. So you're going back and forth, right? And if flexibility is an issue, you might have your knees slightly bent, or perhaps you've gone back to one of the other variations. That's fine. And then, of course, we could make it a little more challenging by doing both legs together. If I've decided to do that, I actually take my two legs together as if they were one leg and still only moving on the exhalation. So you inhale to lengthen, exhale to lower, inhale to lengthen, exhale to lift. If you need to hold on to the sides of the mat, that can be helpful. Nice. Again, one leg at a time or both legs together. Keep breathing. Use the breath for the movement. Now do one more either leg or two more both legs together. And when you're complete, bending the knees, feet come to the floor this time. We push the feet down, lift the hips, take the block out, roll down one vertebra at a time. And then as you feel ready, exhale the knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a little hug, little rocking from side to side. Nice. Hands on the bent knees. Now steering both knees around in a circle, a few times in one direction, a few times in the other. Massaging out any tension that might have crept in. And then soles of the feet together. Reach down, catch the ankles. Nice. Draw the heels towards the pelvis. Let the knees open wide. A little Supta Baddha Konasana, relieving any tension from the inner groin. Gorgeous. Relaxing the hip flexors here, opening up. And then exhale to release. From here, we're rolling over to our favorite side. If you still have socks on, now's a good opportunity to take them off. We will need traction with our feet momentarily. And then we're coming to table pose. If you have a hardwood floor situation, you need padding underneath your knees, feel free to take your blanket and support yourself. Otherwise, heels of the hands underneath the shoulders, knees directly underneath the hips. You're going to take a little cat and cow here, inhaling, lifting the tailbone, lifting the chest, lifting the gaze. Exhaling, navel to spine, tailbone and head come down. Going back and forth at your breath pace. Might be faster or slower than mine. See if you can be methodical rather than mechanical. Right? Always interesting when we give ourselves an opportunity to work through the spine in this manner, especially after doing some intrinsic core work. Yes, and then coming to a neutral spine. Inhale here, lengthen through tailbone, crown of head. Exhale, wag the tail to the right, turn to look over the right shoulder. Inhale through center, exhale second side. Yes, getting all those movements of the spine involved. Gorgeous. Coming back to neutral now, reach the left leg back. Start to tuck the toes under on your mat. We're really looking to stretch all the toes. Stretch the heel back. Open up the back of the ankle, the back of the knee, the back of the thigh. Really hugging, hugging, hugging. Gorgeous. And then lengthen the frontal plane of the body. So to do that, I have to think about moving my heart through my biceps. I might even end up looking up slightly. Gorgeous. And then you're welcome to stay here, or I've got a little bit of more core work for you if you'd like. So we're going to inhale here. Then as you exhale, you're going to see, could you pick that right knee up off the floor? Gorgeous. Inhale, put it back down. Exhale, lift it into the belly. Inhale, put it back down. Exhale, lift it up. Inhale, put it down. Beautiful. Bring the left knee down as well. Last side, right leg goes back. We start to tuck the toes under, really stretching each set of toes, reaching the heel bone back, opening up the back of the knee, the back of the thigh. Beautiful. And then lengthen the frontal plane of the body. Can you move the heart away from the belly button? Navel to spine. Gorgeous. Inhale here. Exhale. Hug the left knee into the belly. Inhale. Touch it back down to the earth. Exhale. Hug it into the belly. Inhale. Put it down. Last one. Exhale. Hug it into the belly. Inhale. Put it down. Beautiful. Both knees down. Big toes touch. Go ahead. Take your block underneath your forehead. Coming into child's pose. If the hands, the wrists feel irritated from that little plank series, you can turn the hands over and open and close the hands a few times, right? Or any movement that feels good here. Beautiful, releasing tension. If you want to roll your head a little left and right on that block, it can feel very nice. Fabulous. And then we're going for downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana, or alternative. So you're going to come back into table pose. You can put your block to the side, plant the hands well, index fingers parallel. Tuck the toes under, lift the hips up and back. Nice, pressing through the full circumference of the palm of the hand, rolling the inner elbows towards the wall in front of you. Nice. Heel bone stretch, back, 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 and down, down, down. And then we're walking the feet towards the hands for standing forward bend, Uttanasana. Big toe ball mounds, outer heels, allowing the torso to drape. Breathing here, let go of the weight of the arms. And then hook your thumbs in your hip creases, hook your hips back to lengthen the spine. Inhale and come to standing. Beautiful. Once you're upright, go ahead and roll the shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, and down. Releasing any tension there. And then we're going to work with a little bit of balance today. So we're going to work with Vrikshasana. If you know tree pose, if you know you need a wall to put your hand on, please feel free to do it. Some of you might also want to just have the top of a chair nearby, whatever you've got. If you need it, if you don't worry about it. We're going to start by planting the right foot. I like to dig my heel into the mat and then lengthen the rest of the foot forward, spreading the toes. Right? So my right foot ends up a little in front of my left foot. That's okay. And then we're going to start to stand on that right foot, hugging the muscles to the bone. Hands can come to the hips. And then before you start to lift that left foot off the ground, I want you to think of zipping up the jeans and buttoning them up. I know I'm a broken record today. Lift through the base of the skull. So those are all there. So you're already getting light. This left leg feels super light. Then you're going to peel the foot off the floor, turn the knee out, and we've got 3 options. You can just simply bring the left foot to the inner right ankle and do the kickstand variation. It's a nice way to work, especially if balance is an issue. Or you can put the foot on the inner calf. Again, really nice way to work. Or finally, you can reach down, catch the ankle, and bring the foot all the way up into the inner upper thigh. Make sure the hips are squared to the wall in front of you. Tailbone is heavy. Zip up the navel, reach through the crown of the head, and then take the hands together in front of the heart. Palm against palm. Inhale, exhale. Don't hold the breath. And then those that can, we take the heels of the hands to the crown of the head. We're pressing the crown of the head into the heels of the hands and vice versa. Navel back. Breathing here. Relax the shoulders. And then we're coming out the way we went in. Hands come to heart center. Inhale, exhale. Hands come to the hips. Breathe. And then turn that left knee forward and step out of the pose. Relax the arms as you take a little walk around your space. Letting go of tension, integrating. And then we'll do the second side. So now our left foot is the standing foot. Dig the heel into the ground. Spread the flesh of the sole of the foot. Plant all 5 toes. Can you see a little mat in between each toe? Maybe yes, maybe no. And then taking your hands to your hips, you're going to start to bring the weight forward. I've still got my right foot on the floor. I'm hugging the muscles to the bone on that left leg, zipping up my jeans, reaching through the head, reaching through the base of the skull. Then I peel that right foot off and I make my choice. Which variation am I taking on this side? Maybe it's the same as the first side, maybe not. And that's okay. Either way, I've got very slippery pants on. Maybe you do too, right? It can be hard sometimes if you've got slippery pants. Once you're there, square your hips to the wall in front of you. Navel back. Then hands come to heart center. Lift the sternum. Breathe. And then hands come to the crown of the head. You really press the head into the hands into the head. This way you're contained. It makes balance poses feel a little more grounded. Breathing here. Nice. And then hands come to heart center. Inhale, exhale. Hands come to the hips. Deep, full breath. And then turn the right knee forward. Step out of the pose. Again, take a little walk. Yes. As you take your walk around your space, find your two blocks. I'd like us to take something symmetrical before we come back down to earth. So I'm going to plant my blocks on the ground and take my feet wide. Prasarita Padottanasana. Right? You know it, you love it. Such a useful pose for getting us back on our center. So you take your feet wide enough to feel spacious, but not so wide that you feel like Bambi on the ice. Big toes turn slightly towards each other. I'm suction cupping the outer edge of the foot. Now the weight has to be balanced between the big toe ball mound and the heel, so find a way for that to happen. Then you're lifting the knees up, up, up onto the thighs. Yes, spiraling the inner thighs towards the wall behind you. And then let's walk the blocks forward, coming into that hybrid of downward facing dog and Prasarita Padottanasana. I'm pressing the palms strongly on the blocks, right? That allows me to keep my head above the bicep line. And then walk the blocks in and set up a platform for the head. Some of you, the head can come directly to the floor. Others need to build up support. So do the needful. Still the kneecaps are lifting. Still the inner thighs are spiraling. Nice full breaths here. Draw the shoulder blades towards your back pockets. And then pressing the hands into the floor, lift yourself up part way so that you can heel toe your feet back underneath you. And then one at a time, we lower ourselves to the ground. Blocks can go to the side. We'll want our blanket back underneath our head. Hopefully it hasn't gone far. Going to do just a little lying twist before our Shavasana pose. Make sure that everything's knit back together. So I've got the blanket underneath my head and my neck. Then I'm exhaling to draw the knees into my chest. Arms go out in a T shape. Backs of the hands are on the floor. Feet are lightly flexed. We're inhaling here. Then as you exhale, both knees go all the way to the right. Now here's where a block could come in handy. You might want a block underneath the outer knees, or some folks might enjoy a block between the knees, right? Helps to keep the pelvis nice and stable. Others will feel like they don't need it at all. So the knees go to the right, head goes to the left, or whatever side you're doing. Just make sure the knees and the head are going in opposition. Nice deep inhales, full exhales. Gorgeous. Then we're inhaling through neutral. Exhaling, knees go all the way to the left, head goes all the way to the right. Again, prop if you need it. Don't hesitate to support yourself. And then inhaling to come back to neutral. Exhale, wrap your arms around your legs. See if you can bring your cheekbones towards your knees towards your cheekbones. You're curving yourself into a very small ball. Nice. Inhale and then exhale. Release it to your Shavasana. If you need to put socks on or if you lost a layer, need to grab a second blanket, do whatever you need to be warm. And then you might choose to take your two flat horizontal blocks underneath the backs of your thighs. It can be a really nice way to work, especially if the low back has been feeling tight at all. Arms are a comfortable distance to the side. If you need to cover your eyes, go ahead and do it. And then let's open the mouths wide, stick the tongue out as far as it will go, stretch the throat, stretch the jaw, stretch the tongue. And then draw the tongue back into the mouth. Let just the lips come back to touch. And then you'll let go yourself completely. Let loose yourself completely. Let yourself rest here in stillness and silence, knowing now there's nothing to do. Now there's nothing to do. Let go yourself completely. Letting one strand of your awareness come back to hear my voice. If you are super comfortable and you have time and space to remain, then please do not move. Stay where you are for as long as you'd like. Others, it's possible you feel ready to move or you're time bound in some way. If that's you, I want you to start to deepen the breath. Deepen the breath, come back to the surface of the body, moving fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. And then on an exhalation, draw the knees back into the chest. Give yourself a hug as if you were hugging your very best friend. Don't be in a hurry to pop up. Then slowly, gently roll to your right side. Pausing there for a moment, I want you to investigate the qualities of the earth beneath you, that stability, that structure, that density. And then head's the last to arrive, eyes remain closed. Use the hands now to press yourself back up to a seated position. Tailbone descending, base of skull ascending, get long. And then take the hands together in front of your heart. Lift the sternum to the base of the thumbs, broaden the collarbones, and exhale, taking the chin forward and down. We're bowing to the seat of the soul. We're bowing to that divine inner wellspring of kindness, compassion, patience, and joy.
The light in me is so deeply honored by your light, grateful for your practice, and humbled by your presence. And in case no one's told you yet today, I love you, and I'm convinced of your capacity to continue crafting a life worth living. Thank you so much for being here. Namaste. Good job, everybody. Good job.